Hello, YouTube! Welcome in. We're going to be watching the Fat Files. Been a hot minute since we watched any of his stuff. Today we're going to learn about Subway. Y'all know what the Fat Files is all about. Wonderful man. Good, interesting videos. Let's get into it.
You know it's going to be good when I have to call my lawyer.
I forgot to turn off my music. Yeah, let's go.
Before I post the video.
Oh, that's terrifying. That's terrifying. Hi, Beep Boop.
Today we're talking about Subway. Why? Because I went there for like the first time in 10 years the other day and they asked me for a tip at checkout, which annoyed me. So then I looked into it and then I found out that you can get hepatitis from a sandwich.
Oh, that escalated. That escalated very quick. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's something I've been noticing at a lot of fast food restaurants is that you go to a fast food, when I used to work at a McDonald's way back in the day, they told you just straight out, you are not allowed to ask for tips at all. Like, understandable. Makes sense. I'm being paid a normal price, so why should I get tips, right? Or why should I be expecting tips? But if they do give you tips, you're supposed to put into like a charity bin. A lot of us just pocketed it if they were giving us an actual tip. What are they going to do, right? But now it seems like all the restaurants, everything is just, hi, Selma. Yo, it's me. And yes, Sean, apparently hepatitis. Yeah, the things are getting a little ridiculous. Let's, you know what? Instead of getting too far into this, yeah, tips at fast food restaurants now feels bad when you can't do that. It's, I don't like it.
I'm not exaggerating, that actually happened, and it's like the tip of the iceberg, and to be honest with you, this is also the part where my lawyer explicitly told me to insert a disclaimer in this video. So here's Jake the lawyer, aka the Internet Esquire.
Okay, here's the deal, Subway Group, now wholly owned by affiliates of Rourke Capital and formerly known as Pizza.
Holy crap, to actually like put your lawyer right on the video so that things are safe. Okay, that's kind of terrifying. Would Bob, but used all my points to give you an open house plan. Fair! At my old job, there's a weird thing where if a customer wanted to tip a specific employee, they have to give it to them in person, in an envelope addressed to them. What? That's dumb. It's the Corridor Digital dude. Wait, Corridor Digital dude? I don't know who you're talking about.
Super submarine sandwiches. My client, the Mr. Fat Electrician, is providing in this video true or substantially true information derived from reasonably reliable and publicly available material. There are no known falsehoods made, and any analysis of the material presented is made solely for the purposes of news reporting, protected commentary, or new understandings. In no way is this video or the things said by my client in this video, in any medium now known or hereafter devised, throughout the universe and in perpetuity, in any way a sponsorship or endorsement of Subway Group. And any so-called conclusions drawn by my client as a result of the material are that of opinion, satire, or are otherwise accurate depictions preserved in their full context when not otherwise artistically interpreted for the purposes of valuable public commentary. And notwithstanding the foregoing, we reserve all right, title, and interest in and to the presentation of the materials presented in this audiovisual format, and with God as our witness, pray that no binders be bound against you as a result of this video. I'm Jake the lawyer, signing off.
Same. Oh, what he said to, I say the same. Same.
In case you can't tell, this video is going to be unhinged, so let's just get the ad out of the way now, and then we can watch my blood pressure rise for the next 15 minutes straight.
This is going to be a good episode. The last few times we watched the Fat Files, I have been very happy with humanity. I've been like, yes, humanity isn't dead. Capitalism isn't as terrible as we're looking at it. And now we're getting to this one like, oh, this is going to be bad. This is going to be terrible.
This video is brought to you by Supremacy World War III, a free-to-play online PvP strategy-based game available on mobile and desktop. It is based on a World War III type scenario, which definitely isn't becoming more and more realistic every single day. You can pick your country and go off to war playing with up to 99 other people. Personally, I'm picking the United States because I enjoy winning. But hey, that's me. You can do whatever you want. You can go play as Iran. Maybe it's fun to lose your entire navy in like 45 minutes. Again. I mean, seriously, if I had a nickel for every single
once again, I don't do the political stuff. I'm going to keep my trap shut.
time that a Republican TV star became the president of the United States, and then orcas randomly started wearing dead salmons on top of their heads, and then America destroyed Iran's entire navy in like a day, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but that's a really weird coincidence. Also, yes, I
Okay.
called that. They also just released their new officer update where you can unlock elite commanders that give your entire country unique abilities and powers and power-ups. And if you use my code down below, you're going to immediately unlock a free railgun, giving you a huge advantage right out of the gate. So go check that out. Let's get back to the video. All right, story time. I used to go to Subway every single day my junior, senior year of high school, and the entire time I was in college, I pretty much exclusively survived off of Subway and protein shakes. And this is back in the day when that Jared from Subway guy that lost a bunch of weight was still in every other TV commercial and plastered all over billboards all
Yeah. Then we found out he was terrible. But hey, I mean, he still sold he still sold the product pretty well, right?
over the country, and footlongs were $5. So when I went into Subway the other day for the first time in like 10 years, I was expecting the price, you know, probably went up a little bit. Inflation, everything going on. It's probably not $5 anymore. That's fine. I go in, I have my sandwich made, I get to checkout. My sandwich was like $19.
Yep. Granted, the $5 footlong thing is something that they do only every now and then. But yeah, no, it's ridiculous. And that's also, by the way, just the sandwich. That's not all the other crap. Jared didn't even lose weight of Subway because, sure, his weight loss journey was fabricated by having an actual diet. Well, yeah, I mean, you can lose weight eating whatever. It's literally just calories in, calories out. If you're not putting the calories out, that McDonald's or Subway diet you're doing is not going to do anything.
Market price.
So right out of the gate, there's some sticker shock, but immediately I'm looking for silver linings. I'm like, okay, Subway's probably one of these companies that has like a pretty high minimum wage for their workers, and that's what's going to justify the price of the sandwich. It's actually going to the worker. That, you know what, that's fine. And then the cashier does the classic swivel the fucking tablet around, asking me how much money I want to leave for a tip.
Oh, you motherfuckers.
Immediately, I cave to societal pressure because I don't want this young lady to think I'm an asshole, so I leave a tip, I grab my sandwich, I go eat my sandwich. While I'm eating the sandwich, I'm just stewing. Like, I don't think I should have to tip the people that work at Subway. Not because I don't think, you know, they provide a service, they did a good job, or, you know, they deserve to make more money. They do, that's fine. But the company should be paying them more fucking money. I just paid 300% more money for my sandwich. Pay your employees more money. I understand.
That's one of the reasons why I hate tipping culture so much. I hate it. Like, tips should not be something that's baked into your pay stub. All right? It should not. Why was that ever something that ended up being considered? Because tipping is kind of like baked into our society now, that gives restaurants and like literally everything now a reason to be like, oh, we have a very high tip rate around here, so we don't need to pay you guys as much because the customers are going to be paying you. You're going to be getting a lot more money through tips and all that, so it's fine. We're not going to pay you as much money. It's gotten to the point where I'm pretty sure people who work at diners and restaurants have a lower minimum wage payment than people who work anywhere else. Just stupid. I hate it.
Subway's a restaurant and like you tip people that work at restaurants, but it's not like I sat down, a waiter came out, took my drink order, took my food order, brought me my food. There was no service involved, okay? I stood there and told you how to make the fucking sandwich. I was the project manager on this sandwich, okay? As far as I'm concerned, I'm part of the team.
Part of the crew, part of the ship. Part of the crew, part of the ship.
At this point,
And a lot of the time, those people who actually are making the sandwiches are so done with their job because they've been dealing with shitty bosses, shitty customers, shitty work conditions, shitty hours, just everything's shitty. They're so done with everything. They can't even like put on a smile. They probably want to give you more toppings, but the last time they did that, they probably got chewed out in the back for 20 minutes for giving an extra slice of bacon on a sandwich. Just, I hate the food industry so fucking much. I hate it. You know, sending bits and super chats count as tips. Maybe we should stop sending bits. I never ask for them. I don't ask for them. If you guys want to support me, by all means, go for it. But I will never expect you guys to pay my way. I will never expect that. That's why I'm working so hard on getting my commission and YouTube and all that to be self-sufficient instead of relying on you guys. You guys help me, sure. But I'm not expecting it. I'm not expecting to have all my subs given to me. I don't want you guys to feel like you need to.
I'm convinced at some point in the past 10 years, all the big wigs at Subway got together in their headquarters in some secret underground layer underneath the volcano or wherever Subway's headquarters is, and they had a meeting, and in that meeting, they were like, okay, guys, we need to pay our employees more money. Option A, we can raise the price of the sandwich 300% and pay our employees more money. Option B, we can raise the price of the sandwich 300% and then we can add a tip screen. That way, when the employees are mad they're not making enough money, we shift the blame from us to the customers. Okay, I'm sorry, you don't.
Yep, that's exactly what they did. Also, I missed your comment there. You're looking at it from a non-American view. It's very weird, at least. Like, tips are not supposed to be what you live off of. It's supposed to be a bonus for doing a good job. Exactly. And when you don't do a good job and people are shell-shocked that you're being asked, hey, would you like to tip me? No, I just spent like $30 on 2 burgers and a bag of fries. I'm just repeating a joke from, I think, a Hololive VTuber talked about tipping culture, and then someone mentioned that what I said, she jokingly changed her mind to be supportive. That's fair. No, I wasn't actually getting mad. I was just, using that as a jump off point to voice an opinion. Like, I hate tipping culture so much. If I feel like I want to give a tip, I want to give a tip. If I feel like I deserve a tip, and you guys feel like I deserve a tip, pass me a tip. But I will never expect you guys to need to give me a tip. Any content creator who is saying they're expecting tips to happen is stupid. Because, once again, you're there to entertain. If you get money from it, golden. If you're not getting money from it, you're obviously bad at what you're doing. I'm slowly growing. I'm still not great off, but I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there. And I want to be able to get to a point where, I don't have to have all this, bits and subs going in order to be able to make money. Hey, tip culture. Hell, 2 of the jobs I work at had tips and wouldn't mind losing it, because if I have to tip, it sucks. Like, prices are high enough already. Exactly. She had to stop my parents from tipping when they visited me in order to not insult the waitress. Yeah. Anyway.
Get to charge me 4 times as much for a sandwich and then also try to paint me as an asshole to the high schooler behind the cash register. It's not gonna happen. So now I gotta know everything. I start digging into Subway.
What is... Grab a shovel.
So once upon a time, 1965, there's a 17-year-old kid named Fred DeLuca, and he wants to go off to medical school, but he doesn't have enough money to pay for it. So he's like, hey, my family has this rich friend. He's a nuclear physicist. He's got all kinds of money. I'm gonna go to him and ask for his advice, probably secretly hoping that the guy's just gonna offer to pay for my college. To his surprise, instead, nuclear physicist guy is like, I'm not gonna pay for your college, but I will give you $1,000 to start a sandwich shop, and me and you can go into business together, and then you can use the money from the sandwich shop to pay for medical school. And $1,000 in 1965 is like 20 grand today, so not an insignificant amount of money. So they open up Pete's Submarines, which is the original name for Subway, and for the first couple of years, they don't really make any money, and a humongous problem they have is people keep calling to order pizza. Because apparently Fred DeLuca and
Pete Submarine. Or Pete Subway, Pete Submarine, either way, pizza.
Well, the radio advertisements has a thick New York accent, so when he says Pete's Submarines, what people hear is Pizza Marines. So rather than learning how to say,
hey, welcome to Pizza Marines, how you doing there, bud?
Pete's Submarines, he's like, fuck it, we're just gonna rename the restaurant Subway. From here, they start like breaking even. They're making a little bit of money, but like it's nothing to write home about. He's not gonna be able to go to medical school anytime soon. And he's like, okay, hear me out. I've got an idea. We're not really making any money with this submarine shop. What if we double down and open a second submarine shop?
Dream big. Right?
Basically, he uses reverse psychology into tricking people to come in to eat these sandwiches, because when he opens up a second location, people are like, oh my God, they're opening up second locations. They're expanding. They must be delicious. And he starts getting more business. Some of the best advice I've ever heard in my entire life when I was in the military was fake it till you make it. And that's exactly what they're doing here. And it works.
It is amazing how far like false confidence can get you. Take it till you make it, bud. You'll get far. You'll get far. You don't know what you're doing? Pretend. Google it behind the people's backs while you're trying to figure out your next step. Just keep making shit up. You'll get something right, and if you have confidence, then they won't question you. It's sad, but it's true.
Now, ultimately, this is going to be their downfall, but at the time, it makes sense. Fred identifies, hey, rapid expansion is what's making money. We're going to keep rapidly expanding. More locations, more money, more market dominance. Makes sense. So they start opening up Subways everywhere, and then they start franchising, which is, you know, basically, hey, you can use my branding, you can use all my vendors, I'll show you how to do this job. You pay me a bunch of money to open up a Subway, and then you give me like a percentage of your cut, and then they just start opening up franchises all over the United States. And this is actually brilliant for Subway because Subway has a ton of advantages when it comes to franchising. Because Subway, they're just making sandwiches. They don't need deep fryers. They don't need a big cooktop. They don't need all the stuff that other restaurants need. They don't need a ton of special equipment. There's not a bunch of special training. Everybody on the planet knows how to make a sandwich. So
yeah, that's why it's so annoying when you go there and it's like, okay, I'm going to get my sub now. How much is it going to come up to? $30. I bought a sub and a couple cookies. What the hell happened? Just because, yeah, the ingredients that they use to make those subs, like, legitimately super cheap, and it's homemade bread as well. So, like, they're saving even more money. Granted, the homemade bread means that it's, you know, it's good. It is good bread. Like, Subway has good bread. However, it's not worth the amount of money that they're selling it to you for.
overhead to open up a new restaurant is extremely low. The amount of training you have to give employees is extremely low, and the amount of space that you actually need to have a functioning Subway is also extremely low because, again, they don't have ovens and deep fryers and all that other shit. Which also means that it's really cheap to start a Subway because there's not a lot of overhead, so you could open up a Subway for like $150,000 to $200,000, where competitors like McDonald's are like $2 million to open up a McDonald's. And this is where
Subway bread is legally not considered bread in Europe. That's hilarious. That's so funny. My standards are low.
Fixation with hyper expansion starts to bite them in the ass because, again, that's all they care about, just more Subways. More Subways is the answer. More Subways equals more money. Typically with a friend,
it's considered cake? So funny. I guess it has a lot of sugar, which makes sense. I love that. Okay, hold on. I'm backing up just a tiny bit here.
Care about just more Subways. More Subways is the answer. More Subways equals more money. Typically with a franchise, the franchising company like Subway or McDonald's is committed to making sure that their franchisees, aka their restaurant locations and their owners, are successful. There's a lot of ways that they do this, and one of the big ones is typically having territories. So like Chick-fil-A or McDonald's will look at a city and be like, okay, this city has one McDonald's, it's big enough for 2 McDonald's, but we're gonna stick it on the other end of town so both of these franchises can be successful.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you have 2 McDonald's and they're literally a stone's throw away from each other, what's the fucking point? Now we kind of have that going on, but like, it's still weird. Sorry for the weird little hiccup burps there. Like, I used to live in a town where we had an actual restaurant McDonald's and a Walmart McDonald's. Well, Walmart pretty close by to the McDonald's. That's usually how it works. So there was not really much point in having the secondary location, so they closed it down. However, that same town had, I think, 2 or 3 different freaking Subways. And they were in different areas of town, but like they were still really a stone throw away from each other. There was not really much difference between the two. Just locale. Bread is bread, not cake. Well, depends. I personally consider it a yoga mat since Subway's bread share ingredients. I have seen that myself. Literally a McDonald's on both ends of a street. Yeah, no, it does happen now. But when they originally started doing that, it didn't happen all that much. Now they've got so many locations. Yeah, it's just happening all the time.
Subway, on the other hand, doesn't appear to give a shit because remember, all they care about is having more Subways. More equals more money, so they don't care how close they get put together, and there's Subways across the street from Subways all over America. I'm not exaggerating. In my small town in Iowa, there's 3 Subways, and 2 of them are in the same parking lot. One of them is in Walmart, and the other one is like 200 yards outside the front doors of Walmart as a standalone Subway. So obviously, they start cannibalizing each other's profits. They're literally competing with themselves. And that's not even the worst part. The overall franchise agreement, I've looked into a lot of restaurants to have franchising. This is the worst one by far. I would be shocked if it's not the worst one on the planet. Not only if you open up a Subway, will they let somebody else open up another Subway right across the street and cannibalize a lot of your profits, they also have like the highest franchise fee that I've ever come across at 12.5%. And a franchise fee is taken from gross revenue, not gross profit, meaning before you even take out all the costs of running this business, Subway's taken 12.5% right off the top. To put it into perspective, McDonald's franchise fee is 8%, so Subway's is 50% higher for a much simpler business. And that's not even the worst part. In the Subway franchise agreement,
Holy crap. Hence the reason why the freaking subs are so expensive. Oh my god.
in every franchise agreement, really, there's, you know, terms where you can revoke somebody's franchise. Basically, like if a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A isn't living up to the McDonald's or Chick-fil-A name, they can take away the name so you're no longer a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A, so you don't ruin their reputation across the entire country. And Subway has the same thing. That's fine, but theirs is intentionally broad, and they can basically take your location from you for a wide variety of reasons, and they've been taken to court multiple times, being accused of nitpicking minor stuff to take over very profitable locations, including in 2005 when they seized 2 Subways in Dallas, Texas from a lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserve who was actively on deployment in fucking Afghanistan. Now, to be fair, I don't know what their justification was for why they seized the locations, but considering the fact that in 2009, Subway lost the court case to said lieutenant colonel.
Texas judge ruled this week that the Subway sandwich chain acted illegally when it stripped a soldier of 2 restaurants he owned while he was deployed to Afghanistan with the National Guard. According to reports in the Dallas Morning News, sorry, that was the end of the sentence. A day later, a second judge vacated the 2006 eviction judgment against Lieutenant Cole Leon Beatty Jr. The 2 rulings together mean I'm finally starting to see some justice for the first time in a long time, Beatty told the paper. This is the first time I feel as if justice is finally being served. I have some small glimmer of hope. After deployment, Beatty enlisted for active duties and is now based in Illinois. An attorney for Beatty, Grant Walsh, told the Morning News that the first ruling, which acknowledged a violation of the U.S. Service Member Civil Relief Act, means the case can move on to the damages phase, and noted that the legal bills have reached 6 figures. Jesus.
Because they deemed it illegal, I'm gonna say they weren't fucking good enough. But hypothetically, just for fun, let's just say they were good reasons. Subway Corporate identifies 2 restaurants in Dallas, Texas that aren't living up to the Subway standard, and they're like, what's going on here? What should we do? Oh, the owner's on deployment in fucking Afghanistan and isn't there to run it appropriately. Should we A, step in and help during the most stressful time of their entire life, presumably? Or should we B, repo their businesses, take their family's livelihood, so that while they're also fighting a war, they can deal about their family back home and losing their business? Huge W for corporate Subway. Makes them look great. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, we all know how corporate cares about things. They don't. You could be dying of cancer in your bed and they could look at you and be like, we're going to seize your assets because obviously you're not going to be able to defend yourself on this one. So we're going to take it all from you and hope you get better. But I needed that in order to support my family after I'm gone. Nope, and you're gone. Yeah, corporations very rarely give. I'm pretty sure they would care more about a rat's behind than they would care about you. Period. Ever.
I'm getting horrifically sidetracked, but you guys get it. The franchise agreement is complete and utter bullshit and has been for the majority, if not the entire time Subway's been in business. Back to the timeline. In the 1980s and the 1990s, Subway is growing like crazy, and then in 1999, they have their first major scandal when 32 people in Seattle got hepatitis from 2 different Subway locations for eating.
Subway franchise faces claims from over 31 hepatitis A victims. Jesus. Seattle, Washington, a class action lawsuit was filed today in Kings Superior Court. Kings Country Superior Court. Against the two Subway sandwich shops implicated in the recent hepatitis A outbreak. The named plaintiff is Anita, I can't read that name, Miss Anita sandwich purchased at the Subway location at 18002 15th Northeast and Shoreline and September 19th, 1999. On October 15th, she began to feel weak and dizzy. She also suffered from nausea. She had numerous visits to the doctor and repeat lab tests. She had been unable to work for several weeks because she had been exposed to this virus. She is no longer able to give blood or donate an organ. According to Seattle King Country Department of Public Health 31 Washington, residents have reported contacting the hepatitis A virus Residents have reported contracting the hepatitis A virus since October 15th, 1999. The majority of the individuals who have contracted the virus live or work in Northeast Seattle or East Shoreline. An investigation by the health department had determined the likely source of the outbreak to be two North Seattle Subway sandwich shops. See release from the Seattle King Code Department of Public Health. Unfortunately, the number of victims is likely to rise because the incubation period can be several weeks, and there is a substantial risk of person-to-person exposure, said William Marler, a partner of the Seattle law firm of Marler Clark. Ha! So that happened, apparently.
A sandwich, one of which was a 6-year-old boy who went into acute liver failure and had to get a liver transplant.
I didn't understand what you said. Could you put that in layman terms for me?
I'll be honest.
Ha! Oh my god.
Didn't even know you could get hepatitis from a sandwich, but a new fear has just been unlocked for me, and I think we can all agree that, the healthy, fresh option giving you hepatitis isn't a great look for Subway. So now Subway's hurting.
Nope.
They need a new PR campaign to turn this entire thing around, and in 2000, 1 year later...
That happened just before the year 2000. How many of us have heard of that? That shit was swept under the rug so hard. Oh my god. Not I, yeah, same. Also, hi, Sliquid.
Later, they find it in a college student that had lost like 250 pounds, supposedly only eating Subway, Jared Fogle. He starts filming commercials talking about how much weight he lost only eating Subway. He's bringing up his old pants, and now he can fit in like one leg of the pants, showing off how much weight he lost. It is a humongous marketing success. Legitimately one of the most iconic and successful marketing campaigns of all time. Everybody knows Jared from Subway. He becomes the face of the company. It's so successful that Subway corporate said between 2000 and 2011, they credit Jared's ad campaign with 1/3 to 1/2 of their growth during that time, and during that time, they tripled in size. So you can't really argue with the results of this ad campaign. However, it's not something I would ever advise, having somebody off the street become the national spokesperson for your humongous company.
Really? Why would you say that? Obviously, nothing terrible is going to have happened from this. Jared was a great guy, great upstanding citizen, right? Totally no skeletons in the closet, totally nothing bad about to happen, right?
Why? Because if they do some crazy shit, it's going to make the entire company look bad, and this is why most huge companies have a fictional character as their mascot. You've got Ronald McDonald, Burger King, the Michelin Tire Man, Tony the Tiger. They're cartoons, they're safe, they're never going to get pulled over for a DUI while they have a pile of blow and a hooker in the back seat. Like, that's the idea.
That was incredibly specific also. Meanwhile, in another universe...
And I'm sure you all know what I'm getting at, because in 2015, Jared Fogle ends up getting arrested and sent to federal prison for 15 years for, and I quote, illicit sexual conduct with a minor and having a bunch of illicit child material on his computer. Okay,
Why? No, probably not. Probably not. I'm not going to assume that, Sean, but yeah, no, probably not the reason. I hope it's not the reason. But it's But this type of situation has been popping up a lot as of late. Subway plus Jared, what a combo. Is there a drink? I hope not. Nope. Nope. There's a cupcake, though. Sorry, I had to make the joke.
Popular opinion, 15 years, not enough. Okay, there's nothing funny about
To the wood chipper with you.
this, but the amount of just tragic irony and foreshadowing that the college student that got famous for fitting into a smaller pair of pants ultimately gets put in federal prison for trying to get in little kids' pants is horrific. Now, that happened in 2015.
Oh, that irony is horrifying to actually realize. I hate that so much.
Luckily for Subway, they'd kind of been phasing Jared out as their head of marketing since 2008 when they came out with the $5 footlong. Again, I'm not saying a lot of positive stuff about Subway, but their marketing team is on point because the $5 footlong also is one of the most iconic marketing campaigns of all time. I mean, we all know the $5 footlong jingle. $5 footlong. The only
Yeah, no, everyone knows about $5 footlong. Like, that's easy. Like, it's less than half the distance, half the amount of inches. It's less than that. I'm in. There's a jingle. Yeah, $5 foot long. Yeah, no, there's a jingle for it.
Jingle that's ever been made that's better than that is J.G. Wentworth, and I don't even know what the fuck J.G. Wentworth does, but I will know his song till the day I die. So the Subway 5...
I don't. I actually have never heard it before. I don't think, anyway. And then I'll probably hear it and I'll be like, oh, it's that one. Fair enough. I believe it actually pretty well is. I'm not too sure.
footlong absolutely dominates. This came out in 2008, right when, you know, the housing market crashed, the economy's in the tank. You could go and buy a footlong sandwich for $5. People loved it. Well, most people loved it. Pretty much everybody loved it except for the franchise owners, because the franchise owners were like making little to no money. Some of the sandwiches they were even losing money on at the $5 price point. But they have to do it because Subway can set the prices, and if they can't set the prices, they can at least advertise the fuck out of it so everybody that comes into your Subway expects a $5 footlong, and then once you've already made it and they're mad that it's not $5, what are you gonna do? Throw it away?
JG Wentworth, 877 cash now? Nope, doesn't sound familiar. Might have been an American thing. Definitely not a Canadian thing.
You're gonna sell it for $5 and save what money you can. I know what you're thinking. Why would Subway be willing to make a $5 footlong if they're not making money on it? Oh, that's simple, because Subway corporate doesn't give a fuck about its franchise owners. At least that's what it would appear to be, right? They're screwing them over left and right, and Subway takes 12.5% of their gross revenue, meaning not profit, so they're taking 12.5% of that $5, even if it costs them $6 to make it. Subway corporate is still getting paid. Fuck the franchise owner. And this is kind of the peak and then the downward slide of Subway, because the controversies just keep coming after this. First, they get busted because...
And they just keep coming, and they just keep coming, and they just keep coming, and they just keep coming.
The footlongs aren't actually a foot long. People are walking in with tape measures,
Oh, there you go, Slickwood.
measuring them. They're 10 inches, 11 inches, not 12 inches. Okay, and I'm gonna kind of defend Subway on this one because this is a stupid complaint. It's the same amount of dough. They just didn't stretch it out enough before they put it in the oven. It's the same amount of bread, the same amount of calories. You're getting what you paid for. And that's really all Subway had to say. It was like, hey, sorry, the employee didn't stretch the dough out long enough before he stuck it in the oven, but all the bread is still there. And everybody would have been like, oh, that makes sense. That's cool. Do you think that's what Subway did? No. Absolutely not. Instead, they released an official statement on their Facebook that says, and I quote,
"The customer is wrong and dumb, and they should feel bad for being mean to the corporate billionaires who don't give a shit." Something like that. That's my guess.
With regards to the size of the bread and calling it a footlong, Subway footlong is a registered trademark as a descriptive name for the sub sold in Subway restaurants and not intended to be a measurement of length. Translation, just because we call it a footlong doesn't mean you can expect it to be a foot long. That's just what we call it, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, like, just because it's called a foot, do you expect your foot to be a foot long? No, some of you have little baby feet and some of you have big feet. Shut the fuck up. Customer, I'm a size queen. Fix this instant. Don't call all my baby feet like this. Baby feet.
Facebook post went about as well as you'd expect. They ended up taking it down. The balls to be like, we call it a foot-long sub because we call it a foot-long sub, not because it's 12 inches long, and if you interpret it as that way, you're dumb, is insane. To be fair, though, a 2x4 hasn't been a 2x4 since like 1960, and no.
Yeah, legitimately, every time my parents would be like, hey, can you pass me that 2x4? I'll look around and be like, which one? The one that's 2x4, right? I'll hand it over to him. Does that look like 2x4 to you? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm no carpenter. Literally, if it's a piece of wood, it's a 2x4, apparently.
Nobody seems to care. Probably because the lumber companies don't scoff and look at you like you're a moron if you expect a 2x4 to be 2x4, but whatever. So then Subway loses their damn mind. They think they have trademarked the phrase footlong in regards to sandwiches, even though a footlong to them doesn't mean 12 inches, which ultimately leads them to suing Casey's gas station, which I've done a video on. My favorite pizza on the planet is Casey's gas station pizza. They file a lawsuit against Casey's because Casey's also makes sub sandwiches, and their 12-inch long sandwich they call a foot long. So Subway tries to sue them for trademark infringement on a fucking measurement.
Okay, Nintendo, calm the hell down.
A measurement that they don't even abide by. Do you understand how fucking insane that is? That'd be like if I opened up a milk company and I sold, quote, gallons of milk, and I trademarked the phrase gallon of milk, and then I only sold you 3 quarts of milk, and then I turned around and sued the motherfucker actually selling you a gallon of milk. It's insanity. Obviously, they lost this fucking lawsuit because duh. So
Good.
Subway's on its down slump, and then they just lose all credibility as being healthy in the coming scandals. Buh! What do you mean it's not healthy? Jared lost 250 pounds doing it. Buh! Okay, Jared lost a bunch of weight.
Oh, you're not going to get any keyboard warriors for that. Or actually, if you do, but you know what? Never mind, you will. Oh, what am I talking about? That's dumb.
Because he was eating 2 6-inch subs a day, and they were mostly vegetables. He was eating like 1,200 calories. You can eat 1,200 calories of literally fucking anything, and you're gonna lose weight. If you eat 1,200 calories of Slim Jims and M&Ms, you're gonna lose weight, especially if you're doing a bunch of cardio, chasing children at a playground like that sick pervert. In 2017,
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Dark humor. Good joke though. Good funny joke. But probably true.
CBS, the news network, decided they were going to conduct a little study on Subway chicken. They went, they bought a sandwich, they took the chicken, took it to a lab, and found out that the chicken that Subway sells is anywhere from 42% to 53% chicken.
Huh? What's the other half?
What the fuck is the rest of it? Wait, let me guess. You trademarked the term chicken breast, and now if anybody assumes that a chicken breast is made out of chicken, we're obviously fucking stupid. Is that what it is?
Yeah, exactly.
Thankfully, no, they learned their lesson. They did not go that route again. What they did was they're like, okay, we're fucking up. We're going to make sure that the chicken is actually 100% chicken. No, I'm just kidding. They turned around and tried to sue CBS for malicious news and took them to court, and they lost again. Because as it turns out, it's not illegal to tell the truth.
There is no way.
Look at that. It's not illegal to tell the truth. What the fuck is going on? Oh my god.
In hell that I am going to say. Oh, I'm really worried I'm going to say it.
Then in 2020 in Ireland was instituting a new tax where they were going to, have to tax more on food made in restaurants, and Subway came to the table and they argued, well, Ireland has certain staple foods that you can't increase taxes on, and one of those staple foods is bread, and we make all of our bread fresh in our restaurants. We should be exempt from this tax. Okay, not a big fan of Subway right now. I'll admit it. I'll be up front. However, that's a reasonable point, and
it is. Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah. If you poke it and it doesn't cluck, is it a chicken? I know. I don't know about that one. I've had chickens in the past. I have poked chickens in the past. Like, just gave them a tap. They don't cluck. They will cluck sometimes, but like only because they kind of feel like it.
Ireland agrees, and Ireland is like, okay, we hear you. Send some bread off to the lab, and we'll take a look at it. They send the bread off to the lab, and the Irish Supreme Court comes back and says, there's so much fucking sugar in this bread, you're not legally allowed to call this bread in the country of Ireland. You have to classify this as cake. You're selling cake sandwiches. And all of
these guys just keep taking so many L's. It's hilarious. Cake bread. We did talk about that earlier.
this just keeps coming out one after another after another. It's promoted by a pedophile. The franchises aren't making money. The foot-long sandwiches are only 10 inches long and they're not bread. They're made out of cake. Half the chicken inside the chicken isn't even fucking chicken. Obviously, it leads to the public perception that Subway isn't that fucking healthy. And while all this is going on, they get rid of the $5 footlong and jack the fucking prices through the roof and then add a tip screen at checkout. Needless to say, Subway's in the fucking tank. They've closed down 7,600 locations since 2015, and they're closing down hundreds, if not thousands of locations every single year, and they are on a humongous decline. And this entire thing is just a textbook example of shitty leadership ruining an A-grade idea, because a Subway franchise was a golden idea, a brilliant idea. Super cheap to start up, didn't need any specialized equipment. Everybody that knows how to breathe and chew bubble gum can learn how to make a sandwich in like 5 seconds. It was so easy to make a ton of money, but instead, Subway corporate was like, we're gonna make as much money as possible and fuck over all the franchisees, even though they're on our team. All they had to do was be like, hey, we're gonna structure this in a way so that the franchisees are winning, then we're gonna win, and everybody's gonna fucking win. But no, they took the easy way out to make as much money as they could, as fast as they could, and they didn't give a shit about anybody else, and it tanked the entire company. They ended
Holy crap. There were a few times I wanted to pause in there, but I was like, this man's on a roll. I'm letting him finish this rant. Oh my god. Yeah, no. This is peak companies not giving a shit about anyone except for their bottom line. This is what I kind of expect when I hear a company, a franchise, a publicly traded group of individuals. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about the customer. They don't give a shit about the workers. They don't give a shit about the ingredients. They don't give a shit about nothing. All they care about is how much overhead they're getting. How much money is going into their pocket. Which, yeah, at the end of the day, that's what you need to worry about. Are you making money? But at the same time, if your business structure is falling through the goddamn floor, why are you focusing on milking more money out of it? Why aren't you fixing the problem so that you can milk it? Hey, cuddle puddle. Thank you. That's so wholesome. Oh, big explosion. Maybe? Maybe? Huh, no explosion. Anyway, but yeah, why aren't you just... Now what happens? But yeah, why aren't you just being like, okay, let's take a few hits, fix the goddamn issue, and then we can start, worrying about our bottom line. No. We're living in the moment. We're living in the moment. I hate it.
up selling to Rourke Capital in 2024, which owns Jimmy John's and Arby's and a bunch of other restaurants. So hopefully a lot of this bad leadership stuff is gone already, or if not, it's getting phased out. Also, I've talked an outrageous amount of shit in this entire video, so I want to take a minute and just be like, hey, I understand if you're mad at Subway right now too. I am as well. However, your local Subway branch probably isn't owned by Big Subway. It's probably owned by somebody in your community that's just trying to make a living making sandwiches, and don't take it out on them. It's not their fault, and they're probably a lot more mad at corporate Subway than we are. Trust me. Thank you for watching.
Agreed. So part of me, like, going through this video is like, man, I don't know if I'm ever going to eat at a Subway again. But it's at the same time, it's like, that's the corporate that's doing this sort of shit. If you enjoy Subway, just because you learned about this shit doesn't mean that your Subway is doing all that shit. If you're really concerned about it, maybe talk to some of the workers. Be like, man, I heard a whole bunch of random ass shit about Subway. Can you tell me if this Subway's doing any of that? If you really want to know, and then you can make your judgment based off that. But also, don't expect your local workers to even know half the shit. Most of them are college kids or people who, don't know anything about the company. They're just there to work. So don't take it out on the workers. Don't take it out on the business itself. They're already getting screwed by their own company. They don't need to get screwed over by you guys.
Watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch, maybe drink some Echelon. Links for both of those are over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang
Out. And that was the Fat Electrician on Subway. Oh my god. Oh, all the karma that I got from watching Fat Electrician's videos over the last little bit has just gone all out the window. Not Fat Electrician himself, just companies. Oh my god. We got so many good brownie points from the companies up until this point, but we lost a lot of them just now. Honestly, I would want to support a local Subway franchise because they take a lot of shit, but I value my health. True. Well, don't forget that hepatitis situation was something that happened in 1999. That's over almost 30 years ago at this point now. So, by now, it's probably fixed itself. And it's probably not as dangerous, so don't worry too much about it. Just enjoy it, and if you start feeling sick, well, go get yourself checked. Because at least now you have a potential idea of where it came from. What? Hey, did you enjoy that? Was it funny? Well, come and check it out live over on twitch.tv/freeform_art. Make sure you put the _art. We have lots of fun there. We enjoy ourselves, and we want to see you over there. So come on and hang out. See you in a bit.